Lately, I've been rereading a banger book, The 4 Hour Work Week, when I came across a very interesting chapter that was explaining why achieving unrealistic goals is actually way easier than achieving realistic ones, the ones that you're probably setting right now, and the ones that everyone tells you to set when they say, be realistic, right? Set realistic goals. And you probably won't believe me if I told you, right, that when you're at a party, it's actually way, way easier to approach a 10 out of 10 dream woman than it is the average 7 out of 10 one that everyone else is approaching. Also, you probably won't believe me if I told you that, getting amazing grades without pretty much studying is easier than getting normal grades. And also, you probably wouldn't believe me if I told you that achieving your dream physique is actually way easier than just losing a few pounds, right? And that is the first reason why it actually is easier. Because just like you, 99% of people think that they won't be able to do it. And so to achieve those unrealistic goals, there are just very, very few people that even try, that even think that they might be able to. And that's why you're going to have very little competition for the unrealistic goals and a lot of competition for the realistic ones. Climbing the normal career ladder is like everyone wants that. But, building a $1 million business which runs by itself and, changes the world in a way that you want to do, that's a thing that not a lot of people do, right? And that's why you have very little competition for the unrealistic goals and a lot of competition for the realistic ones. At the same time, Tim Ferriss in that chapter explained the second reason why achieving unrealistic goals is actually easier than realistic ones, because they give you way, way, way much more motivation. Like, think about it. If you thought about, just losing a few pounds, that wouldn't make a big difference. You wouldn't look that much better. So it won't motivate you a lot. But if you think about building your dream physique, a physique that makes you feel confident, that you feel amazing inside, is healthy and everything, that motivates you, at least me, way much more. If I think about, just getting in a normal job and being paid well, that doesn't motivate me, right? But if I think about building like a revolutionary business which is helping the world, people like you, achieving their full potential, and at the same time that gets me to be financially free doing what I love, that motivates me 10 times more, right? And if I think about a normal relationship like everyone else, or a 10 out of 10 dream woman with whom I want to really be, that motivates me 10 times more. So achieving those unrealistic goals, or even thinking about them, setting those unrealistic goals, will give you way, way, way much more motivation. And it will also give you the ability to push through those moments where it's going to be hard, because problems are going to come. You're not always going to want to go to the gym. You're not always going to want to approach that woman. Or you're not always going to want to go to work or put in those hours on a hard decision, on a hard project. But if you're thinking about doing it for a good enough why, then you will be able to bear anyhow. That's actually a saying. A good enough why can bear anyhow. So choose your why well, and you will be able to actually get there. Now, another thing that I realized was that at the end of the day, we will never actually regret having set high goals, right? And having, pushed hard to achieve unrealistic goals. First of all, because think about it, even if you achieve those realistic goals, it wasn't what you wanted in the first place, right? You wanted that unrealistic thing that everyone else told you, no, don't be realistic, bro. You won't be able to do it. And so you settled for the realistic one, but you didn't want that in the first place. And so even if you achieve that, it's not going to fulfill you, right? The second reason why you will never regret setting unrealistic goals is because normally, just like the saying says, if you shoot for the stars, you get to the moon. If you shoot for the moon, you get to the sky. If you shoot for the sky, you won't even get off the ground. And so if you shoot for the stars and you even get to the moon, you will be way, way, way more ahead than if you just shot for the sky and didn't get off the ground. And so even if you achieve, as said, your realistic goals, you will be way, way, way lower, like on your success scale, let's say, if we would talk about it in a scale, than if you try to achieve that very unrealistic goal, but you didn't achieve it fully. You will be way, way, way ahead, right? You will be way more successful. And so that's another reason why I think we will never regret setting unrealistic goals. And the third reason is that we just have one life, bro. Think about it. Think about it once. Imagine yourself in your deathbed. You literally just came at the end of your life and you're there thinking about what you did. Now, I don't know about you, but personally, I don't want to be there thinking to myself, fuck, why did I just listen to everyone telling me, you won't be able to achieve that? And so I settled for the things that I didn't really want, for the realistic goals. I may have achieved them, but it wasn't what I wanted. I don't want to get there. And personally, I would be way, way, way more satisfied to have tried that one, to have pushed, gave 100%, not listen to everyone else. And maybe I didn't achieve it. Maybe I got here, but at least I tried. I wouldn't want personally to die with the, but what if? But what if I just didn't listen to everyone else? What if I tried, I set those unrealistic goals, I tried, and maybe I failed? I gave my shot. I had one shot and I gave it all I got. Now, also, as we have seen, if you fail here, that's all right. At the end of the day, you've tried. You gave your best. And on top of that, achieving this goal is actually easier than this one because you have way less competition and you also have way more motivation and will push through those hard moments. So that's why I started setting, unrealistic goals. The last time when I read that book, that chapter of the book from the 4-hour work week about 1.5 years ago, I made a big mistake. I didn't set really unrealistic goals. I still, set goals that normal people wouldn't set, like building a successful YouTube channel, having a high quality girlfriend or things like that. But that was not what I really wanted. I still played it safe. And that was a big mistake. You know why? Because the goals that I've actually set were, I went kind of like a little bit unrealistic, but still playing it safe. Those are the goals where I made the least improvement, to be really honest. And the goals, on the other hand, actually, I just set one goal that was really unrealistic for me at that moment. That's where I actually make the most fucking improvement. And so that's why just the other week, I set myself some new, better goals, some more unrealistic ones, that ones that I actually wanted. Because I realized in this 1.5 years that the goals I had set, that were realistic, first of all, they didn't motivate me. I made very, very, very little, progress in those ones because it wasn't what I really wanted in the first place, right? And on top of that, even if I would have achieved them, I would still not be satisfied. So that's why when I reread that chapter, I told myself I won't make this mistake twice. And that's why I also made this video for you, because I know how much I regretted not having set so unrealistic goals. The one that I actually set myself, that was really unrealistic, that's the one where I made the most improvement. The one where I got the closest to, because little competition, most motivation. And yeah, those are the two key reasons why it's actually way easier to achieve unrealistic goals than it is to achieve realistic ones. And so don't do my same mistake. Set unrealistic goals. Set goals that if you achieve them, you will be happy. And if you don't, it will still be way, way, way better than if you just set those realistic ones. Because just be honest with yourself, you don't want them anyways. And we just have one life, bro. That's, I think, the most important thing to keep in mind. You will always regret not having shoot your shot, not having given your best when you will be there in your deathbed. And so here I have one main question that helped me a lot to actually figure out what I wanted, to set those unrealistic goals. And that question is very simple. What would I do if I knew I couldn't fail? If I was guaranteed to succeed, what would I want to do, to have, and to be? Write down on a piece of paper, have, be and do, and write down the things that you would want to have, to do, and to be if you knew you were guaranteed to succeed. Because let me tell you this, if you figure out what you really want, you're pretty much guaranteed to achieve it, because you will push 10 times, 100, 1,000 times harder than if you just settled for those realistic goals that everyone else tells you to follow, because they are too afraid to follow what they really want, to set those unrealistic goals. And so they just tell you to do the same because they are afraid themselves. So don't do that fucking mistake that I did. Ask yourself that question. And when you feel like the goal you're setting is unrealistic, you fear not achieving it, You really know that that's what I want, bro. That would be amazing, the best thing happening. But you fear a little bit that you won't achieve it. That's when you know that you actually set the right goal. So don't do the pussy like everyone else. Set the right goals, set unrealistic goals. First of all, you will have way less competition. Secondly, you will have way more motivation. Will push through those hard moments. And thirdly, guess what? You will not regret it even if you fail. Even if you fail, think about that. You won't regret it even if you fucking fail. That's, I think you have won either ways. You have won either ways. Because, bro, believe me, do yourself a favor, bro. Do it for yourself. Don't do it for me. You will regret it if you don't set those high goals. Believe me, I, just hope for my past self to have the balls to set those high goals. And so do yourself a favor. In a few years, you will be looking back and be grateful. Actually, if you fear right now those unrealistic goals, that's your sign that you're actually doing it right, bro. It comes with a little bit of fear, but the satisfaction you will get is just so worth it, bro. So worth it. And especially the dissatisfaction you will have if you don't do it, I think, is the price to pay to not be scared. And at the end of the day, even for those realistic goals, you're still thinking to yourself probably that they're going to be hard to achieve and no and this and that. So you may as well have it for the unrealistic ones, right? So, bro, really hope this video helped you out. If it did, and if you liked it, make sure to leave a like and to subscribe to not miss my future videos. Wish you all the best. And actually, I suggest you to go and read the 4-Hour Work Week. Amazing book. See you very soon. Ciao. Actually, look at this beauty, bro. It is amazing. Wow. See ya. Ciao.